Esther. I'm so
Hey,
glad.
girl. So good
I'm
to
so glad
see
you could
you.
be.
How have you been?
I'm good. How about you?
Brilliant. Lovely. It's getting hot here, and we're still just selling houses. I don't know what you're doing over there, but that's what we're doing.
Okay, so what does hot look like in Utah?
I'm a big baby. I grew up in Las Vegas. So I did all my heat in my early years, and now I'm done. So anything that gets over 80 and makes me have to wear, I really like to wear a good jacket. I'm wearing a hoodie right now. I just like it to not be nasty. So
Yeah,
don't ask me because I'm a baby and a half.
it's
Call
like
me when it's
90.
snowing here. I'll whine about that too.
Yeah, it's 92 here, and we don't get snow, but it
No.
is it is very humid.
Yeah, no, that hits you like a block. When we were in New Orleans for the luxury conference, it was the same way. Just like, oh, that was a whole wall of something in the air that just
I'm
really,
telling you, New Orleans was a different type of heat. That was
really.
really hot.
Well, 97 plus that humidity, that'll hurt.
Yes, yeah, we get
Yeah.
about 92 here, but never usually above that.
Okay, so I was looking at the stats today, and you have, hi, Maureen, honey, you have 216,000 realtors. Wait, no, you're North Carolina. Ooh, I was looking at Florida. Florida has 216,000 realtors. Now I have to look at North Carolina. What on earth do you think is going on in Florida? That's just nutty. Do you know
That
how many you have in your state?
I don't.
I'm
Can
going
you
to
look?
look it up while
Yeah.
we're talking.
I
And
know how many I have in my little area, but not in my state. That'd be interesting. And we're waiting on Jason, who was having technical difficulties just a few minutes ago.
right, and we'll blame my brain for looking up Florida on the fact that Jason's coming. Realtors in
There you
North
go. Hey,
Carolina.
Brenda.
How many are there? Does anybody know? You guys know how many realtors are in North Carolina? Good gracious, there's 20,000 here. And then
Wow.
I looked at Florida and went, 216 is a little more than 20K. Like that's bonkers. I know this is why I know so many people over on the East Coast that I love, because dang, y'all have a lot of realtors going up in your state.
If you don't know what else to do, you get into real estate, right?
I guess so. Well, and I think a lot of realtors probably retire to those lovely southeast areas over
Yeah,
there.
that's right.
Okay, how many? How many? How many? 82,000.
Okay. It's not as
So,
much as Florida, but more than you.
right. 82,000 active realtors, and 55,000 of them are 82,000 agents, 55,000 of them are realtors.
Oh,
Do you
wow.
see a big difference between, I mean, do you see people not doing realtor licenses? I don't see the
I've never
active
seen that.
ones that I know
Yeah,
are
me neither.
realtors. I don't run into people who are not realtors
Yeah,
almost
me either.
ever. Yeah.
So,
So
what is a funny real estate story that you have, like a most recent one,
oh gosh.
or
Okay.
embarrassing?
Okay, so here's one that I absolutely love. We were the other day in New Orleans, right? And we passed by some street performer that had a big old, I think it's probably a python that come in white, like you can order
Oh,
them on Land's End. Anyway, a big old snake, and somebody's going to know. It's probably a boa. I just don't even know. Hi, Jason. And we walked past them, and it reminded me of ages ago. You know that property that's just a really nice property, but it's been beat to bits, and the person living there is a renter because the owner couldn't sell it back in the day, and so now they're just renting it to this guy,
yeah,
and the guy doesn't want to sell it because he's been rent free for the last year and a half because he hasn't made any payments, and it's just this big old mess. Well, we go over to that house with a client of mine whose only criteria on their house was that I need a living room that was 40 by 40 feet by 40 feet. That's a little bit tough to hit. So we go to this massive, gorgeous house that's being rented by this guy who hasn't paid in a year and a half. And we start looking around, start walking around the property. We have an appointment to go see the house, so we're not doing anything illegal. And he comes out the front door wearing this boa constrictor, just like a boa, all wrapped around.
oh,
He's got this look on his face like, I am Jason Statham. And he comes walking out there and he's like, what do y'all want? And we were like, for real right now. Like, did you just come out here and try to intimidate us with your big old scary, nobody's going to get hurt snake? Like, that's not going to work, baby. Like, I've seen more than this. I got 5 kids. I've seen a lot scarier snake around a stranger. Like, we going to go ahead and see your house anyway. You are welcome to wait in the back.
Okay, what was the house like? Was it gross?
Oh my gosh, it was one of those houses that was built in 2000. Well, no, it was. So Utah has a really funky period between 1980 and 1984 where nobody was building developments. There were just wealthy people building funky houses. So you see things like the footprint of a house and then 2 feet out, the exact same footprint. And that's what they're using as their heating and cooling. You just see all sorts of weird ideas that only wealthy people could afford. And every house is completely different. It was one of those. So it was just grandiose with an indoor swimming pool and an entire garage full of snake enclosures of all these snakes that this renter was breeding. Anyway, so it was gorgeous, but sometimes you can see gorgeous that has gotten a few wrinkles and it doesn't take care of themselves anymore, and you just know that it used to be pretty and that was hand-picked mahogany, you know what I mean?
Oh, wow.
So it was a really beautiful home, but gosh, it had seen better days.
Yeah, especially with a renter that hasn't paid rent in a year and a half and is doing whatever he's doing with the
breeding snakes. Yes,
hate snakes.
He can do that. That's fine. He can have them.
Yes.
I just am not intimidated by them.
That's exactly. So Jason, I'm glad you got up and running.
I apologize. My whole system crashed as I was trying to connect. So here we are.
Well, I'm glad that you made it.
We were talking about how many realtors are in each state. I don't know if you can Google real quick, but I'm curious to know what your population is in your state. I think it was like 7.2 or something like that million. You have 216,000 realtors in the state of Florida. That's a lot.
I was going to say it's about 200,000. Yeah, that sounded about right. It's okay. I'll take your word for that.
We have 20,000. And really, you're only about double our population. So for over 10,000 in South Carolina. Yeah. So Maureen, I'm curious what your population is to compete with that number. Like how many people per realtor is what I'm looking for.
But you know what? But most people I've found, they get their real estate license when they don't know what else to do. Right?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, in Florida, we've got, 21 million people in the population of Florida?
No. You have, yes, you were that high. That's right. So you're not the 7. I can't remember who was 7. Maybe that was Arizona. You do have an enormous amount of people. You're about, when I looked at it, I think you were about 1%, which I guess that makes sense. 1% of your population is a realtor. So that means every 100 people you see on the boardwalk, there's probably one of them that's a realtor. So here's my thought though. How many of those people are doing Jason Panos level of real estate? I'm just super curious. Like
I know in my area,
116,000 realtors, or you had, what did we say? 82? No, what did
87,000.
87,000 in North Carolina. Yeah. How many of those realtors actually are, I don't know, Jason, how many deals do you do on average a month?
I would say I'm ranked 12th in the state.
That's right. Exactly. That's what I'm talking about.
I think we probably do about 7 deals. And I think the average realtor in Pensacola is doing, I don't know, like roughly 4 deals a year, 3 deals a year.
Right. I haven't checked that number recently, but last time I checked, it was 8 per year in Utah. The average realtor was doing, which actually that's kind of a lot. But again, we have 3.5 million.
Let's put it in a different perspective. If you look at the number of agents, if you have 20,000 agents in Utah, 4 times your agent population just left the industry.
Oh, give me those numbers.
68,000 people that were realtors 2 months ago are no longer realtors.
Did you say 68,000?
I think that's the number they just came out with.
And is that across the nation?
That is across the nation. And if somebody is listening, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's the number they just got put out.
So I was getting my my backup glasses, which have you ever seen me in glasses for probably the last 5 years? You haven't seen this. And I just keep taking them off because I'm going to pretend that I don't wear glasses today and that I have contacts in, but I don't really. So I probably should just wear them. I was at the Warby Parker store getting my glasses earlier today, and he found out that I was a realtor, and he's like, oh yeah, I'm a realtor too. And I'm like, are you? And he keeps his license because people refer to him from out of state. But like everybody else who's part of that 68,000, and this is the question I'm going to ask you, he still has his license. Are you saying 68,000 didn't renew?
I believe that's the number that was put out. I believe 68,000 left the industry, which means now that they have their license, not that they literally 68,000 people do no longer have their license.
Interesting.
That's what I understand.
So I'm assuming it's because the real estate market's getting a little tough now compared to the past 2 years.
Yeah, you're a team lead. Do you see that in the younger agents in your office, or do you see that as retired agents? What's happening there?
With me, I don't see it within my team. However, I am seeing it within the industry, and it's really the people that have, what I'm seeing is people that have gotten into real estate during COVID when they didn't really know how to work for real estate. They don't really even know how to read a contract. Literally, they put a sign in the yard and would get 25 offers. And they didn't do much work.
And in
for
COVID, it was easy. It was easy money if you could get a listing. I mean, that's what everyone put out.
That's right. But now you're actually having to go back and actually do the work of a realtor.
Well, and Jason, how much, I don't even know if I should ask you this question. I'll tell you what my numbers are. I pay $12,000 a year to be with Remax, a little give or take. And then I also pay a percentage of my deals. And then, maybe probably less than 5,000 for my industry fees and my local fees and whatever. So I'm about, somewhere a little bit under 20,000 just for the privilege of being a realtor. I think that the actual real life of what we spend as a realtor is something that our clients really don't understand. So they're looking at that easy money, and I'm thinking, well, you're not even making anything until you've done 2 or 3 deals, because especially in your area, Jason, if you're selling something for 400,000 and that's kind of higher range of your average, then you're getting $12,000 and a certain amount of that's going over here. And I still need, 8,000 more just to be a realtor this year. So I don't think people are realizing that
is hard work.
We're not right. And it's not flexible. They come and say, I'm a realtor because it's flexible. No.
Yeah, I always think that's funny when people say because it's flexible, because they don't want to work nights or weekends, because they want the same schedule as their children. I'm like,
yeah.
I'm sorry. When you're in real estate, you have to work everybody else's schedule.
That's exactly right. I work when your life gets to be flexible because I'm a realtor. Now, there are limits. Of course, sometimes we turn off our phones. But here's the thing that I do find. If you're wondering why it is a good thing to be a realtor, I find that when there's a field trip, or when my child has a singing performance during school or something like that, I can block out those moments.
Yeah.
But when we're sitting on the couch and it's 8 p.m. and somebody wants to tell me about their day, there are things that will pop up on my phone that my children know have to take priority. And so you don't really end up having your children's schedule. You just work whenever the work comes. And sometimes at 10 a.m. in the morning, you're sitting there going, what else am I supposed to do? And at 6 p.m. at night, you can't find any space to even breathe because you have too many things to do.
Right. So that was like when both of y'all met my youngest daughter, Grayson, at Luxury. Yes. And when I did college tours with her 4 or 5 years ago, during one of the tours, and I was dealing with 5 under contract that I was negotiating with in the middle of the college tours. And she finally broke out crying. And she was like, can you put down your phone and give me an hour? Can you just give me an hour? And I'm like, okay. Meantime, I'm like having a heart attack. I'm like, oh, I want to try to put down my phone for an hour. But you have to think of how many people on the other end of those transactions were getting upset, because if you have 4 or 5 under contract, that's 4 or 5 people. Then you've got agents on the other side. Then you have their people. You have lenders and appraisers. And
the reality is, like I said, sometimes you can put down your phone for an hour. But if there's somebody over here that's saying, look, if you don't respond right now, you don't get this deal, then the other person says, Mom, I really need you to put down your phone for an hour. Like those clash so often.
Well, plus, Esther, I'm like, I've got to be able to pay for the college, right?
Right. Right. And you're thinking, no, this is my priority, baby. But also, if I don't do this, this person's going to court or not getting their house, or this money is getting wired to Russia. We can't just put that off for an hour.
You know, let me throw this, because Jennifer, you and I, before I became a team lead, had a long conversation about it. And one of the things I preach to the agent I currently have and the couple of people who I've talked to since is family comes first. And I think what's beneficial with what Esther said about the standard agent who got into the industry when things were easy, why teams will come out of COVID and come out of this next market so successful is if you have a good team lead and you have a leadership bracket that says, look, your life matters. And if Jennifer, if you need to go and tend to your daughter, I got this. I can make this phone call. Like family comes first. And I think we all were burnt out. We were all like, how many people do we know were stressed out over the industry, stressed out over the number of phone calls they're making on a day-to-day because it was like it was controlled chaos, but none of it was controlled. And I was preaching to my buyer's agent. I preached to 3 or 4 agents who have talked to me about joining. I don't know if they will or not, but I think that when agents look at the stress that we have to endure every day, and I mean, this is not easy. We make very, very good money for what we do. And frankly, the reason why we make good money is because we're good at what we do and we can manage 100 things. But I think when the number of people that I know that their families sacrificed for them to get to where they're at and they're no better place, I think that teams are what makes sense. When you have a team around you that says, look, Jennifer, you've got to go on vacation. Don't worry. We'll call you when the world's falling apart.
Yes.
Great. But I think that we need to be more about that.
Okay. Can I read Lee's comment?
Please.
Yes, Jason, I know that my team knows that I have their backs. 2 of my young agents have children under 6, and they know that I have their backs, and I will show their buyers, attend their meetings, unlock a door, or negotiate their deal.
That's what I'm saying. Like literally, hey, and I think that it should be it shouldn't be the norm. Hey, I have a buyer and everyone's going to disappear.
Right.
Hey, Mark, actually, Mark's one of the
talking about you right now, Mark.
Mark, like literally, I think Mark and I sat down at the teams event. It was one of the things like you should have the ability, like, hey, if you've got a baseball game and your buyer absolutely needs to see this property today, great, I'll go do it for you. Yes. But if it's the one, you get the agent, and I don't mean to say the lazy agent, but I think we all know what we're talking about here. But the agent who gets the buyer and then all of a sudden has vacations left and right, and they're never showing property. They're never writing. They're just there to collect a paycheck. We all know the difference there. So I think, ironically, Mark popped in right at that time. Mark and I think talked about that.
Mark does this so well. I really feel like if there's about 3 different people on Mark's team that I can talk to and get the exact same details. I don't have to talk to Mark. So I think that has been done so well that, if I were Mark and I needed to just run away to wherever, I have a long distance boyfriend. So if I'm just like losing my mind and I need to take a self-care vacation for a couple of days, well, now there's 3 other people that can take care of that. I don't have a team. I pay agents to show houses when I go out of town. It's $50 for the first one and $25. Mark, we all just
so don't lie. You don't want to talk to his people, just him.
We do all just want to talk to you, honestly, all day. But I pay quite a bit of money for the privilege of not being here in town all the time.
There it is.
Yes, exactly. And it's worth it to me. But yeah, it would be nice to have a team that was just like, I got you. I used to have that where I had an agent that we would just trade back and forth. When he's out of town, I show and whatever. I haven't had that for a while. And Jason, I think you're right. Not only in the support, but the mental support and the systems support, because all those 68,000 agents who are leaving don't have the $20,000 for the privilege of being a realtor but with a team, they don't have to, right? They don't have to pay everything.
So Esther, why don't you start a team? I would agree. Teams are very, very,
This
very,
is an
very, very
excellent
important.
question. Yeah, so
I couldn't do it
everybody I
without my team.
know tells me I should be a team leader, and I cannot remember where I parked my car. And I don't think that anyone who is just barely holding on by the skin of their teeth, I've been through some stuff in the last year and a half, and I am just barely feeling like I know where my children are. I know where I am. And I kind of almost feel like I'm waking up to get a grip on my life and move forward. And having other people that I am then responsible for, I just am not quite ready for that yet. Plus, I just don't like systems, right? I don't like things being all in a line and every Monday at the same time I do the same thing.
I love running chaos. It's fun.
Now,
Here, Mark's got
Or
some
yeah,
advice
here's
for you.
another thing. I mean, yeah.
yeah,
I think we all together collectively, if we're talking about how our mental state is in this. And I mean, it's taken, I mean, everyone that's viewing in today, whoever will see this video and whoever knows us, I mean, how many of us had conversation with each other, but also how many of us had conversation with other agents that my life is not where I want it. And I have all these clients I want to, and we care about the clients.
right.
We fight for them every day. We work through their problem. They become family. And honestly, when you don't have somebody that you can turn to, somebody that you can relate with, somebody you can pick up the phone and call and say, I just want to vent for 5 minutes.
100%. Somebody who is doing this that understands what you're saying.
So we can't, there's a lot, like our clients come to us and want us to make sure that we handle with pristine their most valuable asset.
Yes.
We don't go to our clients and say, like, okay, I've had a bad day. We don't. What do? We rely on our colleagues. And I mean, I have colleagues in other networks that I've called and talked to, whatever, but this network is so powerful. And the reason that you said before, and I disagree with you, that $20,000 that spends to be a realtor, there's other brokerages out there that don't have what we have in our fees, but we get a lot for the amount of money we put in, and I'm fine with that. But the difference is, if you're willing to do the work, this is a very beneficial place, but you have to have a very big support system. And I think my big support system is frankly the people that are showing up to watch us shoot the breeze and drink. Okay. Well, I'm going to tell you I'm drinking water. I'm not telling you what I'm drinking.
2 things. One, when you look at real estate, you think $5,000 and I'm in after 60 hours or 120 hours or whatever your state requires. That looks like all you need, like I need a business card and a sign and $5,000 and I can be a realtor. Well, you can, but you're not going to make it. And it's so much more than that. And you guys being here for me over the last couple of years, filling my pipeline with beautiful people that have really helped me grow through that process has been amazing. My daughter is working at a home warranty place and she's like, Mom, how come you have all the best clients? And I said, because I don't find them on Zillow, love. For me, from the very best people around the nation. That's why. That's right. But then the other thing, I'm going to announce, we haven't put this out there yet very far, but Bree White, if you guys know her from Saint what? What's her town? Port St. Lucie.
Port St. Lucie. Sorry, I was like
in Florida, and she works a whole lot of other spaces around that. But Bree White did a talk at R4 in the university that was amazing, and I missed it, but I heard so many other people talk about it, about finding work-life balance. And that's so cliche, but she took it in a way that was so revolutionary and so beautiful and so actionable. And a lot of people really gained a lot from that. So I'm putting her in our conversation on the 3rd Thursday of the month at our Hustle Coffee Shop Mastermind. So if you don't know where that is, just feel free to, Google me and text me and I'll help you find it. But she's going to kind of walk us through that class in a conversation style so that we can get a little bit more of a grip on our own nervous systems, because sometimes we're just shooting electrical out everywhere. Hi, David. That's just the sweetest thing ever. Thank you. That's
and I imagine at some point we'll probably dive into our markets if you want to, Jennifer. But the last thing I'll say to this is, I honestly, every time I go to a listing appointment, and I think I learned this from Jordan Cohen, I actually, in my listing appointments, like when you hire me, you're not hiring me. You're hiring 32 of the best agents in my market.
Yeah.
And 160,000 across the country and across the world are going to help me help you sell this home. And the fact is this network is what it's about. You can't, look, you need a village to do this. There's no way we could do it on our own. And that's even sometimes just, I need a break. And that's what's great about it.
Well, I'll tell you, and Esther, you had hit on it about, you think you've passed the test, you've taken the test, you passed it, you $5,000, you're ready to become a real estate agent. But the market changes every single day. Our contracts change every single day. At our meetings every Wednesday, and I've got 10 of the best agents in North Carolina on the team. And every Wednesday, part of what we talk about is what have you learned this week?
Yes.
Because it's amazing. I don't care if you've been in the real estate 1 year or 17 years or 27 years.
Yes.
It changes every single day. There's something new and you're like, I've never seen this before.
Yeah, you guys keep me out of jail all the time. Like, oh, that's illegal.
Yeah.
Well, I won't do that anymore then.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And the contracts, we just had a new contract. When I first got in real estate, our contracts were 6 pages long. Today, as of today, I just got the new one in. It's 17 pages long. So
heavens. Yeah, no, they used to be a half a sheet. Like, you want to buy this for how much? Okay. All right, let's sign it.
That's exactly right. So tell me about your markets. What are you seeing in your markets?
Silly. You put that comment up as if it was important. So it really, we used to be able to talk about our market as a whole. I don't know if this is the way yours are, but we used to be able to be like, well, it's a seller's market or it's a buyer's market, or our market is moving really fast, or our market is kind of slowed down and taking its time. We can't talk about the market as a whole anymore. When people say, how's the market? I say, which neighborhood and what price range are you looking for? And are we talking about like a house that's really ready to go? Or are we talking about a house that maybe needs a little bit like, it's so, and maybe that's what a balanced market is, that, and I just haven't seen one because I've only been here since 2015, but it's so everywhere that each neighborhood and each house is completely different. If you have something that's going for our median-ish or below, well, that's probably going to go fast unless it looks nasty. And then it's probably going to sit there forever and never sell. So it's just a really interesting, we used to be able to answer it. And now I don't feel like I can answer it without asking 75 questions.
Yeah, right.
Jason, what do you say when people say, how's the market? Give me something to say instead of like, well, tell me more about what you're talking about.
Well, I was actually going to record my video for June today, but I didn't get a chance, but I ran all the numbers. I'll tell you this, in May, our average sale price was $382. For June, it was $417.
Oh, snap.
Okay. From May, we had 940 sales. We had over 1,000 in June. Active listings was exactly the same. It was about 1,500, give or take, how you look at it. Our market, and I run it for 2 counties, and I run it for all residential. I don't care about condos, but condos only make up about 110 of that, give or take.
That's
the thing is I think, and I don't know how many people went in and saw Brian Buffini's, but all the real estate agents out there, Brian Buffini's bold predictions, go watch.
I'm trying to see that.
Yeah, I'm telling you, the stats. This market's going to get crazy. I don't care what city you're in. Come January, if you're not literally running for something, it's coming. And I'm looking at it in the stats. I'm like, yeah, I have a property on the market right now. It's been on the market. It's way underpriced. It's been on the market 382 days. It had 2 offers in the last 3 days.
Oh,
I'm like, okay, here it comes. And they're all going, no, you don't have another offer. I'll show it to you. Like, seriously, I don't want this to go multiple offers.
Right.
Our market is very, like, because, and I think like Brian said today, when you're talking to your buyers, what gets them off the fence? I'm like, our market's pretty simple. Life happens. Most of it's military. When you get orders, you're coming. Do you want to rent for $2,800 or do you want to buy for $2,200? That's the reality. So when we look at, life, when life changes and life, I think Nick Bailey says it best, buyers and sellers will buy and sell because life happens. Life events dictate when people do. Their interest rates don't. It's only the difference of who's putting their houses on the market. But guess what? The other thing is I think it was the last quarter, the Home Builders Association marked that the most number of new builds started this last quarter, record breaking. Yeah. So new builds are coming. So there's the inventory that's going to allow things to start moving. So
interesting.
Our market is totally unaffected by it. It literally, we are skyrocketing as we are, and it's starting to churn, and we're seeing it. I think we'll have another record-breaking August based on what we have in the pipeline. Just my team, and that's only 1/8.
We used to say August was a waste. Just go somewhere. You might as well vacation in August because nothing
Usually
happens.
September would be busy because everyone finished getting ready for school and then moved in.
Right.
August is going to be nuts.
Remember when realtors used to be able to go on vacation in December and January? Remember that?
Yeah.
Well, I used to always December. Always.
Vacation. What is that?
No, I know what vacation is. There's a conference, and then afterward, you go and have some really good food. That's what vacation is. Honestly, I feel like we need to do like a little tiny PSA for all of our clients to be like, hey, you've seen me in a couple of places lately, and you might think that this is all fun and games, but let me tell you what we've been through over the last couple of years, and we need to get a grip. Well, you know, like I just feel like I need to like justify my beach pictures somehow.
Well, but I also think
you know what, conferences are different because I feel like conferences, I take away so much valuable, really truly valuable information and friends. And where that becomes important is when you do have those listings and you can market it to the 400 people that you just met of the top agents across the United States that definitely have buyers moving to your area.
Yeah, exactly. And
well, I think telling our buyers and sellers that is exactly why we're in this industry and not other people in the 68,000 left, because we don't tell them that. When I go to a conference, I tell them, you know what? I do more work at conferences sometimes than what, like the networking we do that drives our business and that drives actually how we're able to be successful. We get ideas and bring them back, and the people we get to meet, and what are you doing, and changes, and then you know, the referrals and all that. It's half. You know, yeah, we spend an extra day or two, but I think Brian a few years ago said vacations are out the window. We do mini vacays or staycays or whatever. Where we set off for 3 days.
Yeah, Brian Buffini said, do a mini vacation or upgrade your rental car or do something.
Fly first class or something to yourself.
Right. Do something that helps you feel like it was worth it to go out and do all of that work. I think that's been genius for my life. But yes, that's why when I go to New Orleans and do a conference, and honestly, like we're working maybe 20, 16-hour days. Like those are crazy days. And it's not play, but we only post pictures of the play. So I think we kind of do ourselves a little disservice. But yes, those are the hardest work days that I do. It just happens to also be deeply fulfilling because we work with the best people in the world. So
yeah. No, and then that's the bonus to it.
Yeah.
But anyway, no, our market is pretty steady. We saw our biggest dip in probably November, and we've maybe January, like it's kind of filtered out. And every month since, it's gone up. Price point's gone up. Number of sales have gone up.
Ours was January and then came up.
Ours was December. Our December we hit a low, but we're back up. And year over year, I mean, from last year to this year, we're up 8%. And then the year prior, it was like 29%, whatever craziness. But yeah, we're still seeing it. It's still going up. Our prices are at $445 right now, which we're up from last year considerably. And, you know, a year and a half ago, they were at $375. So it's amazing.
Right. When I came to R4 in 2018, I printed on the back of the card that our price median was $350, and we're at $550, $570 now. That's just a little bit bigger.
That's a little bit bigger, right? Yes.
You know what my favorite thing though, you can still get for less than $350, you can still get a condo in Park City.
See?
That's my favorite thing because you go in there and put down whatever money you want. Get a condo in Park City. You spend a month there in the summer or in that weird month that your market is useless and come over here for Park City for a minute. I love that idea. I've been seeing a lot of people doing that lately.
So I've never been to Utah, so I would love to visit, but not when it's snowing.
No, spring and fall are my favorite.
Okay,
I
good.
have no use for the snow because I don't ski, I don't snowboard.
Um,
But spring and fall in Park City are just delicious. They smell so good and it feels so good. And you're not dying of heat when you're hiking, and you can just kind of wander around the ski trails in the villages, and it's just gorgeous.
When's the last time you were in Pensacola?
Yeah, what is the weather like in Pensacola, Jason? Because I'm thinking you're really hot in a coat.
Do not come in July, August. If you come in mid to late September and beyond, mid to late September, it gets to the mid 80s and the humidity probably drops in half. Where if you go out to the beach, you don't need to sit in the water and get out and bake again.
Yeah.
But July, August, like today,
it's just Pensacola in December, and that was just delicious. It was so perfect.
I like
So
delicious.
what's the weather like right now today, Jason?
It is 97, 100% humidity. We've had 2 storms. It cools off as the storm comes, and as soon as the rain stops, it's 100% again, and it's miserable.
Yeah, it's like 92 here. So I think Florida, I think y'all run about 7 to 10 degrees hotter than we do.
What's your humidity like right now?
We're on the water. We have the same humidity as you do.
Okay.
I mean, I've got water all the way around me.
What did you say your humidity was?
I don't know.
Yeah, it said the same.
98, I think.
100.
Ours is 11.
Yeah. Well,
I will look up
the couple of percentage that we have, we'll give it back to you. I don't know.
11% humidity. This is why our clients always get a little bit confused when they come over here from places like you guys, because they go, where's the trees? I saw trees in the brochure. They see Park City, and they see on the east side where the Wasatch Mountain Range is. And then they come and go, I don't understand. Why are your mountains brown? And I'm like, oh, yeah. No, we're in the desert now.
I'm trying to, how do you even know what your humidity is? I mean, I'm
you're looking on your app. If you click on today, you should be able to click on a down arrow that shows you a bunch of different stats about today. I don't know. Maybe you're not in the app that I just am going to assume you're in the exact same weather app that I'm in. I think I'm probably in Apples. I don't know.
Okay, hold on.
I looked in the Weather Channel app, so
that's because you yeah.
I looked in the Weather Channel app and I don't see it there. Hold on.
Go to hourly and it'll tell you what you're at right now.
Humidity wise?
Yeah, it's right in the middle.
Jennifer, I feel like we kind of hijacked your show. Did you have actual questions?
I mean, this is good. I'm learning how to figure out humidity. I mean, I know how to figure out.
Why are you blaming me for this?
I had a meeting with Sam Olson out of Reno the other day, and he was the boss in the meeting. You know, there's always somebody who's in charge, and it was Sam. It wasn't me. And Sam said, I think I'm going to get this thing done, and I'll probably, get this other thing done. And I said, Sam, would you like a deadline for that, or do you want to just let us know when you're done with it? And everyone in the Zoom just leaned forward and went like this, like, how's this going to go? Like, don't take over the Zoom, baby. This is why I can't have a team, because I don't play well with others. I just do what I want.
So our humidity is 100%. That just means when it's going to rain? Is that all I'm looking for?
No, it means the water in your air. We have 11.
Oh, yeah, we're up to
Utah, bring chapstick, drink too much water, and like fan yourself with one of those misters.
Well, Jennifer, when I get my pool done, you are absolutely welcome to come down and at least you'll get to enjoy that.
Yeah,
I think I've been hearing those words for about 40 years. When I get my pool done, snore. I want to come over.
I'll give you an update later. We don't want to hijack her show too much.
No, y'all are good. This is all fabulous. So what piece of advice would you give a realtor right now? Not on a team, just a new realtor. What piece of advice would you give them in being successful?
Who are you asking?
Either one, both of you, whoever.
Ladies first.
I had this exact question because one of my clients said, my best friend is a realtor right now, and she is doing no business. She's not showing houses. She's not listing houses. And she's out every morning for hours and hours and hours and working so hard.
Behind you.
I know. Isn't he beautiful? She's out working so hard, and she's doing this and this and this. And she was just working her tail off and getting no business. And I said, oh, she's working very hard. She's doing all the wrong things. Yeah. So if we're looking at somebody who is actively investing with real activities, not like, silly activities. Let's be real. It has to be real active investing in your business. and nothing's coming from it, you need mentorship. And I'm pointing at Jason because this is what I told her. She said, I'm in Pensacola and I'm trying so hard. And I said, you need someone to teach you what you're doing wrong. Yeah. So for me, it's like, for example, if you list a house and you've got it priced right and you think your pictures are great, but no one shows up to the house, well, you're wrong on one of those two things, right? You need to figure out which one's wrong. If you're doing 40 hours of work a week or even 20, and you're showing 0 houses and you have 0 listings, you need to find somebody who's doing it right in your market and beg on them, or somebody who's outside of your market and beg on them. Hi, Sandy. Because there are people out there who know how to do it, like Jason. And I said, please go call Jason Panos, because I know that even if you're not joining his team, he would love to be taken out to lunch and have $40 worth of a lunch turn into $40,000 in your business. You know what I mean? Oh. So for me, that's the greatest thing that's helped me in my
and even when you asked me about it, if she calls me and wants to go out for a cup of coffee, I'll whatever I can offer. I think the biggest thing that I would, real estate is simple. Real estate is a relationship-based business, period.
Yeah.
If you're not spending day, and I don't care who you're talking to, if you're talking to a social media expert, if you're talking to someone who will literally bag groceries and pass out business cards, or if you're talking to, the number one remax agent in the world, when you build relationships and you're talking to people and you're having conversations, that's what's going to drive your business. So here's the reality. It's pretty simple. If your phone's not ringing, make someone else's ring. If you're not shaking someone's hand, go talk to people. If you're at the coffee line, strike up a conversation. Here's the thing. If whatever you're doing, if you're a door knocker, cold caller, a mailer, you need to just be driving where you're talking to people, and then use your sphere. Send out 10 text messages. I actually said this to somebody today. Send out 10 text messages to the first 10 people in your database or in your phone. I don't care. And just say, hey, I hadn't talked in a little while. How are things going? Just start a conversation. And when they open the door and say, I've been busy, I've been doing work. How are things with you? Oh my God, this real estate thing is remind them what you do.
Right.
And then let the conversation go to the next stage, because that reminder is not going to get you a sale today. That reminder is going to get you a sale in 6 months and 5 referrals.
Planting those seeds. That's right.
So I think that
having to say, do you know anyone who's looking to buy or sell?
No, don't even start there. Yeah. You can as you build it out. But I think the biggest thing is you can use a lot of technology and Zillow and social media marketing and all this other stuff. But the reality is, if you're willing to just have real conversations with people, I think that you build stronger relationships, and at the end of the day, that's what's going to drive your business. Plain and simple. If you do nothing else, you will do okay or pretty well in this industry.
Is that your quote, Jason? If your phone's not ringing, make someone else's ring.
That's actually one of the taglines I tell my buyer's agent, and what I've told everyone else is. I actually and I can't remember where I got that from, but somebody told me something along that line, and I just made it up.
I like it.
No, that's exactly it. If no one's connecting with you, go make a connection. And honestly, that's like across the board, right? That's the way you live R4. That's the way you live when you go to church meetings. That's the way you like. If you are feeling sad because nobody's talking to you, here we are again. You have to be the grown-up in the room to go make that connection.
No, I agree. My first year in real estate, I wouldn't go home until I gave out 10 business cards a day, which was really hard. And I was kind of shy, but I found myself at the gas station talking to the person pumping gas next to me, or when I went to a grocery store talking to the bagger. But it was amazing how much business I really got from that. And you just have to get out of your comfort zone and learn to talk to people.
Well, and the thing that we don't talk for, the thing we're trying to protect ourselves against, is somebody being like, why is she talking to me? Here's the thing that you don't know. And it got even worse when we went through COVID. They need to be smiled at.
Yeah. That's
Everybody is walking around during the day looking for someone to please help me get the chemicals in my brain to flood through my body because I'm not okay, right? So everybody, the check person, everybody is walking around needing to be smiled at. Yeah. So you don't have to worry. Oh, You have to circulate to percolate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? That's a little bit.
That's
a little bit
awesome.
bigger.
That's
You don't have
awesome.
to worry that they don't want to hear from you, because
Yeah.
it turns out all they're looking for, they don't even care what you say.
You know,
It's
if
like-
I'll say this, and I think I can't see exactly who's on. I can see who's commenting, and every one of these people, I love them to death. Here's
Mhm.
what I'm going to say: is if you're genuinely a decent person and you care about people, and you just pick up the phone during COVID, this was probably my daily thing. I reached out to no less than 10 clients, 4 people in the network, and 3 local realtors. And if somebody said something online, it's been a rough day, this isolation is killing me, I reached out to them. And it's not because my personality, and we can go into my background of why, but also my personality is I just want to help. And what can I do just to reach again? Because your mental state is completely off at that point. So if you can take that mentality and literally just use it to your clients, I really just want to know how you're doing.
Yeah.
Your business is going to do fine.
Right.
You know, if you take care, forget the money, take care of the client, I will make you rich. And literally that's it. I will take you to the promised land. That's what I tell everybody I interview. If you believe me and you care and you stop worrying about the money, I have enough confidence what I can do as a teacher to teach you what to do. And I'm not perfect at real estate. There are people on here who are more successful than I'll ever be. But guess what? One thing I know I'm good at, I will outwork the crap at anybody who comes next to me. And if you think you can outwork me, we will run the race together. And here's the thing is when you believe that you can build a better relationship, then we're going to be on par.
The beautiful thing about you is that you actually know how to teach that. Yeah. There's a lot of people that know how to outwork us, but you know how to take that and in a lunch session, turn that into actionable steps for someone who's looking for it. And I'm sorry, I don't mean to be doing an ad for you because I know you have enough things on your list. So I don't need to make 85 people now call Jason Panos.
You know what? Let them call. I don't care.
I remember during
I will pick up the phone almost every time I can.
I know you will. I know you will. And you'll be glad that you had that conversation. And yes, you are one of the people who is looking for somebody to reach out to you and say, hey, because we're all human. I remember during COVID, I must have posted something nasty on Facebook, which is really rare for me. But you called and I can still, you know how those moments freeze in your brain? I can still hear your voice. I must have said something funny on the phone. And you said, you're adorable. And I thought, I'm adorable. you weren't flirting. You were just like, look at you. It's like David saying, I'm a breath of fresh air. Like you just were like, oh, look at you. You're just so cute. And I thought, oh, I'm okay. Like for some reason, just the little moment of a connection of someone who understood how difficult this work is and how emotionally taxing it is, that really does make a difference. And when we're walking around going, I don't know, she might not want to hear from me, then we're denying ourselves of the opportunity of having someone who like, I'm never sending anyone to any other floor. Like I'll even send you things that are not in your area because you and I have a bond that matters. And I happen to know you're a kick-ass realtor. So that helps. But yes, these relationships are just sitting out there waiting for you like a blind pack of Lego minifigures that you can open.
You just have to make the conversation. I agree. And people can tell when you're just after money. And back to what Jason was saying, I think you truly have to be after helping people. What can you do to best help them truly and not look at the money, which is why it's always interesting because other team leaders are always telling me I shouldn't work buyers or I should only work certain price brackets.
Yeah.
But I work everybody and anybody and even rentals because I truly like helping people.
Yeah. This is probably why the 68,000 people left. Like some are retiring and some have other circumstances. But I think that there were a lot of people who got into real estate in 2018 and 2017, 2019 that thought, I'm going to make a lot of money. And then they went out there and said, do you want to give me a lot of money? Instead of wanting to go out and help people, they were just told by their, a lot of our real estate kids come out of BYU's program. And I don't know who's teaching real estate over there. Yeah. Whoever that is teaching it wrong. So a lot of our kids are probably the ones that are dropping out because they thought they were going to get in here and drive a Lamborghini. And maybe it's not quite as easy as they were led to believe.
Well, you're dealing with the largest investments of anybody's lifetime. So it's a big, it's a big deal.
Matters just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit. That's right. So then what do you tell your buyers if they come in and they're concerned about interest rates? What are you saying?
Who'd we steal this from? Date the rate, marry the house.
Oh yeah.
I hate the God. Yeah. Although Brian Buffini said today, I guess you're renting the interest rate,
That's right.
Here's the thing is, interest rates, and I had this conversation with somebody yesterday. Interest rates affect investors. They don't affect buyers and sellers. And the reason why, you don't decide you're going to buy a house because of what the interest rate is. You decide to buy the house because of a marriage, divorce, graduation, upsize, downsize, new children, whatever. So here's the reality. We figure out what you can afford. Don't worry about the mortgage. Worry about the payment. What can you afford and what the lender can get you? And if we get you, even if we max out what we're going to do and all things look that we're going to be in the 5s, and maybe even they said today, we may be in the mid to low 4s by the end of next year. Yeah. Well, get the house you want today for $50,000 less. We'll refi and we'll figure out what we need to do in a year or year and a half. But your life is dictating that you need to buy or sell today. Do that. And if the ones who are in the sub 2s, look, we can get you a new house if that's what your life dictates. And if we need to turn around and rent this for a few years because you got a great rate, we can turn you into an investor. And I'll show you how to do that as well.
We can turn you into an investor. That's a cool way to say it. Lee, you're exactly right. And maybe we shouldn't say Brian Buffini again, but he says, give a slice, get a loaf. That's definitely been my experience. We were talking about reaching out to the Remax network or to people at a conference or whatever. When I have given any slice to this Remax network, you guys have totally brought it back into me as a loaf. I just cannot count the amount of loaves I have now in my life experience because of tiny little scraps of bread that I've handed out. So you're exactly right. You can get anything you want in this life if you give help. Sorry, Zig's rolling over in his grave. You can get anything you want in this life if you help enough other people get what they want. How'd I do? Is that all right?
I think you did well.
Zig Ziglar.
Yes, I think you did well.
But it's true.
It is.
You hand out enough slices, somebody's going to hand you a loaf.
Yeah.
I think having an honest conversation with buyers is simply, when you're ready to do something, you will absolutely do it. If you're looking to invest, I have a few investors that are investing in this market. We're just putting more down. They're not worried about their return on their physical cash. They're worried about the cash flow, which is what we're doing. Right. We're just changing the metric.
Right.
But buyers, look, oh God, the interest rates are high. Well, great. When you're paying $50,000 to $75,000 more for the house, but your rate went down half a point, you're going to be like, oh, I wish I would have bought 6 months ago.
Well, that's what I tell everybody too. If you wait for the interest rates to go down, you're going to be back into that feeding frenzy that we were in last year.
Prices are going to
That's
the
exactly
moon.
right.
Driving the prices up. That's right.
So I just have an honest conversation. I let them know what really dictates a buyer and a seller from making that decision of what they want to do. But honestly, it's a calm conversation. And most of them are like, well, you're not talking to me into selling. I said, you're right. Because if you decide to sell in 6 months or a year, you're calling me.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't care. At some point, you're going to call me. Why? Because I'm the best at what I do. And I'm confident enough that I built this relationship that you're only going to use me. So I don't care when you do it. I want to do it when it's right for you.
That's right.
I've talked 5 or 6 sellers into renting this year because I'd rather them have a portfolio.
Yeah, that's right.
Why not keep that house? You have a 2.9 interest rate. All of my military guys, I say, no, rent it. Yeah. Because as much as I like money, I'd rather you have a portfolio.
That's exactly.
You're going to buy
generational wealth.
If you have generational wealth, you're going to buy more from me anyway. So
there you go.
Jason, to summarize your point on the interest rate, you can win one of 2 ways. You can win by buying right now, which I saw a 7.85 something interest rate today. And then the interest rate goes up. And oh my gosh, aren't you glad you have a 7.85 versus a 12.25, right? Or you can win by buying right now and you're at a 7.8 whatever. And then the interest rate goes down and you now have a 4.25. Yeah. Either way, you're winning. You're the guy that moved now. So you're the guy that gets to collect the benefit.
That's right.
Well, and I mean, what are, if you look at it from the flip side, from what investors are doing. So I've got an investor who just bought a $600,000 condo. And the way we've worked the numbers is they put 50% down to make it cash flow no matter what they were doing. If the rates go, so they got the interest rate at 8.5, I think roughly the investor loan.
Yeah.
If the rates go to 4, which means that investor loan goes to 5.5,
Right.
we're going to refi it, do a cash out, pull the cash out that he's put in there to get his cash flow. He gets to pull more equity out and the equity that's gone up, which means he may pull out exactly what he spent and go buy another property.
Exactly.
If you're looking at it from the perspective that's what investors are doing as a home buyer, buy it at a lower price, pay the extra for the next year or two. If you refi it, because you need a 5-bedroom today. You cannot, because you have 4 kids.
Right.
There's not a chance you can get away with this 3-bedroom house anymore.
Right.
So if your life is telling you need something else, forget the rate. We're going to go with what you can afford. It's not about the rate. Who cares? Sign the document. It's,
No, I agree with you.
I think our buyers are smarter than they realize. And if we help them put the fear on the shelf for a second, then they're going to make these same conclusions when they look at the numbers.
Yeah. So I'm guessing, Lee, yours was probably 18%.
18 was what I was going to say too.
I was going to say 15 because I think my parents were 18 and their credit sucked. So.
We're all sitting here listening
But
to
the 18 in
was
1980s, it was
and
like
read that comment. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Come on, Lee, what's the answer?
We're all waiting. Now we're all waiting with bated breath.
I
Oh,
think
in the
you'll end up
meantime,
saying 18.
I didn't tell you very well. So on the 3rd Thursday at 10 o'clock at the Hustle Coffee Shop Mastermind, Bree White out of Port St. Lucie is going to come and talk to us about balancing our mental health and our work. And I think you guys are going to absolutely love it. So for those who were like, what, when, wait, huh? That's the time.
Jennifer, I'll apologize now that we're advertising another podcast on your podcast.
I'll advertise anything. And if it's going to help my fellow realtors not lose their minds, I will advertise on your page. In fact, when I'm done here, Jason, I'm going to go post on your wall on your Facebook page.
Oh, I'll absolutely put it on there. I'll do it because I'll be there. I love Bree.
Well,
I love listening to her.
Bree and I are going to do a video, so I'll let you post that one when we get together on a Zoom and say, hey, you should come to this because you know you need it. I just really love bringing beautiful people into a room and having them lift the others. I think that's phenomenally fun. So, Lee, we're all waiting. I'm dying.
She's
probably
like,
jumped off. She said that and had to leave. That's what it was.
She's probably answered a dang real estate call.
Yeah. Well, Jennifer, you have anything else you want to do?
No, I am good. You guys were very informative, and thank you so much.
14. I was closest.
Oh, you were
no.
Ding, ding, ding.
No. But what did you pay for the house? What, like 92?
I was going to say 75.
Oh. She assumed
8.5%.
Wow.
No.
She likes you more than you.
85,000, she said.
Oh, shoot. Oh, that's why she said I was close. 85.
I said 75. So yeah, you got that one.
Well, very good. Well, y'all are awesome, and thank you. And I will be at your coffee shop. That's on the 27th, then, Esther?
Girl, I don't know. It's the 3rd Thursday at 10 a.m. Mountain Time.
So it's 12. Okay, good. I will be
12
there.
Eastern. Yep.
I'm excited. And thank you, guys. Thank you for your time, and thank you for coming. And
thank you for asking.
Giving all your information.
You know, Jason and I can talk for hours, but it's always lovely to have you and be able to be hearing from your expertise. I think that you are one of my favorite team leaders, and I've really enjoyed watching you build your team.
Thank you, Esther. I love y'all.
It takes so much of all the different sides of a brain and sides of a personality to really make that work. And I think that's tough. I watch from the sidelines on purpose.
It is tough, but it is rewarding, I'll say. So
I'm sure that's true.
I love it. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. Thank y'all.
Hey, it was a pleasure. Thanks for asking.
Absolutely.
Love y'all out there. Bye, guys.
Good evening.